Hello, and welcome to Evolution of the WAD. Each week discusses a new topic in which we delve into the history, the legacy, and the content of Doom mapping. I am Captain Clever, and I will be guiding this friendly little tour by playing through a number of the maps that epitomize the theme of today. With me, I have Alfonso.
Hi, are we still doing the formal introduction thing?
That's
Everyone.
good enough. We also got Do.
Hi. I haven't done anything since the last time.
Great. And we got, last but not least, Tarnsman.
So, yesterday, I was watching Ashley play through the new story mode of Madden 18. I just go.
Fantastic. That's what I want to hear, but maybe for another time. Today's topic, as you can see in the upper left, is regarding TeamTNT. It's part of a series of episodes that we're working on. And the exact precise topic that we're doing then is Icarus, Alien Vanguard, and Eternal Doom 3, two of the TeamTNT projects that occurred after TNT Evilution.
One of which is a sequel. It's actually penned as TNT 2, is Icarus, Alien Vanguard, in the files, I think.
Yeah.
Which means that we're on a hiding to nothing, Tansman. We gotta bail.
No, it's okay, because we're making TNT 2.2.
Also, was that Kentucky Fried Chicken hanging up on the...
Yes.
It was, yeah. We need to talk about that at some point.
Yeah, sorry, I just noticed. Somebody said that the year is 1996, not 1997. That is absolutely correct. Great. Moving on. So, this is Icarus. We're actually seeing them in demos right now. And Icarus Alien Vanguard actually came out, technically, before TNT Evilution. TeamTNT had finished creating Evilution around October, November of 1995 when they were pitched by id Software to make it a commercial product. And it took a while for that to actually come out. So in the meantime, TeamTNT, having dealt with some backlash regarding that commercial release, decided to make sure that Icarus came out as soon as possible, and so here it is. In spite of being a sequel, actually was released before the original. But we're going to go ahead and look at a few of these maps. We'll start with the first one, obviously, getting just kind of into the...
When did TNT actually came out?
Evilution? Well, Final Doom. That would have been, I think August of 96, roughly?
Yeah, because this is March, I think.
Right. Yeah, March 21st I have written anyway. So, this is the beginning of Icarus. And...
Final Doom came out in June.
June. Okay, sorry. Summer, whatever. I know it was after. I don't have these dates memorized. I wish I did. But this is the beginning of Icarus, and supposedly, according to the story of the game, we're actually in Florida.
Say what? Also,
yeah,
you are going to die in one. It's not easy going.
And this map is brutal.
Probably
really
in the top 5 most difficult maps, considering you have to play from pistol start.
Correct.
And you didn't even die in the hard part. That comes later.
Yeah, I know.
I'm looking forward to your performance, just completely just setting this episode out of whack.
But the way that the plot of this game is supposed to work, and of course TeamTNT loves its plots. Right now, this is supposed to take about 12 years later from Doom 2. Not relation to Final Doom exactly, but Doom 2. Man, I am getting my ass whipped. And we're trying to make our way to the Icarus vessel that was lost contact, and they were exploring an Earth-like planet. And basically, we're a lone Marine that is trying to gain a vessel that is currently on Earth in Florida that was apparently the IRS owned it. I don't know, but that's what it is. And
IRS.
Yep.
Did they repo it? Is that how come they own it? Did fucking UAC not pay their taxes?
Maybe.
I just want to know why on earth you would name your ship after a mythological figure that had its wings burned off because it flew too close to the sun. That's not very smart, surely.
Well, is the ship actually named Icarus or just the WAD?
It's the ship.
Oh, that's
Yeah, it's the ship.
Oh, as Mark mentioned, this map is actually by Christopher Buteau. Is that how you pronounce it?
I think so.
The author of Habitat.
Oh yeah. Let's read this. the greatest work.
So this is how you begin working through this level.
Well, sign me up for more Bateau, because this one's pretty nifty. Cue the silence as everyone disagrees.
No, it's a cool map. Sorry, I was just enjoying the...
I'm just waiting for him
just
to die.
Yeah.
Like this is one hell of a map one.
Check out the scene building here. Like he's got the texture changes with the the warning. Yeah, with the light change. Yes, with the warning strip, which I think was green before. All systems nominal. That's neat.
Also, the Icarus theme kicking in here is great.
That's right. The soundtrack for this was it not entirely by Tolwyn, David Shaw, but partially, and I think the rest done by Ty himself. Actually, I think he did a few compositions.
Dang it, I'm trying to remember how to do this. I was pretty sure I remembered, but apparently not. I have to deactivate the warnings. It's gotta be like right around here. Yeah, you need the red key, and in fact, the way that Icarus works...
But you
is
go
that-
back to those lava tunnels.
You do. You have to go down the wings.
But, God, I just did this like 2 days ago.
I knew it.
I was pretty sure... Well, just as a kind of a reach up. I was pretty sure
I don't
that
think
one
it
of
would
these
be an
panels-
evolution of the WAD
There
podcast.
we go, there we go.
Without you, per
And
episode without you.
we're already behind the schedule.
Nah.
Yeah.
We're on one.
So yeah, and then you just keep going through it, and it's pretty long. We'll go through it in its entirety in this case, but most of the maps we're either going to just kind of touch upon or.
Oh, you
spend a
better
little
play
bit-
Donnybrook in its entirety.
You have to play Donnybrook at least for the fact that an entire community project was proposed based on the sort of puzzle elements that level has. So we want to see what the hell they're talking about. That project, by the way, did not get off the ground. I don't think it proposed to be a megawatt, thank God. Wouldn't surprise me if it did, but it was an episode called Donnybrooking.
Great.
I'm so dead. Oh man, there's no way. There's no way.
I love that harp, I just do.
Alright, okay. Yeah, this
Nice.
it's brutal. It really is. This is a very difficult beginning of a level. But we got to take
Like,
over
I
the ship.
remember-
That's how it works.
I remember when I first played this, I was like really scared that it would be this hard all the time, and then it's not.
No, it's duh. Friggin' imps in the wall.
Nice. This is quintessential 1996. I think mid-text traps need to make a
Can't make
turn.
this. Wait, is it this one? Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna have to hope it eventually works. Oh, this is
Just
gonna
rely
be
on the player to. Yeah,
So
this is not gonna work.
It's gonna be-
Time it to the sway of the gun, or something.
Okay, you did it with an SR-50. Great. But we're not done yet. Because there's guys right here. Okay. It's a mean map. It really is. And yeah, like Dew said, it does not really set the tone for the rest of the set. The set is not.
It doesn't in that respect, but it's sort of representationalism with regards to furniture use and painting a scene and transformative elements. That does carry through to some degree.
Yeah, like the tropes of the mapping, but
Right.
not the difficulty.
Not the
and
difficulty.
the gameplay.
So this is pretty cool.
But I mean, it's easily a mark against it as well. But it's not an intention. You can tell it's because it's from Pistol Start. It wasn't. In the full light of consciousness, you imagine they wouldn't have wanted to make it as difficult as it is. It's just a question of testing and not understanding balance at the time.
And I still don't have enough health to do this. Without. There we go. Come on. Friggin' hit scan everywhere.
This is my favorite part of Evilution of the WAD.
Okay. Well, that's why it was such a hit with Dime, right? Between your guys' commentary and him just fucking up something.
Being lost was a critical part, yeah.
Okay, so now we have the red card. God! Okay. I forgot about those enemies.
I think we were just at ease with the realization that things would come unstuck at some point, and we just had to be prepared mentally for that event.
And back down.
My navigation isn't that bad, Dobby. Please.
Anyway, the way that once we finally get on the ship, the game is actually broken roughly into 3 different parts. Just gonna run it. And we're gonna. I mean, I don't know how often I'll show this, but every single map has one of these, and it's kind of just a way to keep coming back to the same place, even though we have very different venues each time.
Yeah, sort of like exit motifs are great. Obviously, the Plutonia one is like the be-all, end-all that will never be topped. But...
Right, just the teleporter.
Wait. Townsman.
This one is pretty bad.
Say Dobby's name.
Dabu Mabu Gabu Bababo.
Okay, I mean, aside from the fact that's completely wrong, but I mean, it's not Dabu, it's Dobu. Do people actually say that? No, I never knew that. Sorry, tangent.
So anyway, we're on the ship.
Right,
now.
yes, no, I'm
sorry. No, I'm sorry. I meant to say Danny Bubinga.
Dabu Bubinga.
Dabu Mabu Bubinga.
For me, it's Dobu.
I think it is Dobu, but Turkish Kako Turd and Dobu Gabu Bubinga can go have a tea together.
So I realized Captain was having a discussion with Ethel about the vices and virtues.
Hey, I think
of
this is
silver,
great.
and
Okay,
it's repeating all
I think it's great.
And you said maybe it's just because of your sort of nostalgic Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
Probably. If I had to pin it on anything, it's
But
the
that
fact
you acknowledged that maybe you knew nothing about textures and.
No,
how
I
they
already.
how
I
they should
knew that
operate,
going
that's exactly
into
that.
what I was talking about. I
think this is what everyone. I think this is what everyone remembers about Icarus. For everywhere.
Right, because
Here's the thing about silver. Is by itself it's a fine texture. The problem is that Doom's texture base just doesn't have enough things to complement it well, because it has a really unique shading style, and basically anything you put with it outside of like maybe comp blue is like just totally out of place. So what you end up with is a level where your that's going to be your primary theme, then your 3 usable textures are the silver textures, support 2, and comp blue.
So Icarus
Also-
is doing it right.
I resemble that comment, that remark, Animat, please. But the difficulty with this in particular is that because there's this dichotomy, I think you could call it, of moving between the ships and then planets, and the planet worlds are always going to be different.
Right.
But the ship's always the bloody same, so you should probably be banking on a sensible texture combination.
Yes.
Yeah,
So this
because
repeats
originally,
essentially
yeah.
like 14, 15 times.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
And it gets old the first time. So
Whatever, you guys. I think it's just dandy.
And that is a fine response.
Oh, also the computer texture, I guess that complements. I guess you can actually use silver effectively, they just didn't here.
Icarus adds a number of like detailing textures to complement silver as well.
Yeah, but
You absolutely can use silver correctly. You just look at my maps for Matt. It's a satellite map.
Oh yeah, that's true, yeah.
Just
Yeah.
consult my work. I'm amazing.
It's a fun little fight for a map too. Mostly hit scan though. Yeah, the difficulty in Icarus it takes a while to pick up, and then there's a couple of real roadblocks, especially on a pistol start. Well, actually only on a pistol start. If you're
Is
playing
it map
continuously,
28 for pistol start that is essentially not completable?
oh right, I think you can
Possible.
complete it, but you have to like wait
out some cacos.
several years. Yeah.
You have to
Wait
grab the
several years
BFG
for
super
fighting.
early and make use of it. funny to think that a map that has a BFG is only barely maxable. Anyway, so you get the idea, and then I'll just show off when you get to the end of the level. You go over here, and we're on the planet exit. This is actually I think the only time where we don't see the same sort of motif. Oh wait, no, there it is. Perfect. Great.
This is a level of continuity between levels that is impressive.
I guess
Yes, at the time, it's essentially another community project. TeamTNT, it's large enough and it has enough members that I can. It's basically that. And it's not often replicated these days. I think the closest thing, nearest thing I can think of would be Going Down with its elevator.
And John Minanel is author of another great TNT hit, Metal, with that exit room. That was actually
called this one Silver, right?
right.
Don't joke about that, because Sele was gonna make a map for the TNT community project, or Final Doom the Weighted. I mean, that was going to be silver, like straight up.
Well, I don't mind that. I'll take it all the way to the bank. So, now we're on the planet level with full ammo because I don't feel like doing. And yeah, so now we're in a very different atmosphere. We've beamed down to the planet's surface. So we got this kind of.
Those windmills, delicious.
Oh yeah.
Second to none. I quite like this level. I think Tansman, we had some disagreement as to the. Well, I don't know. I think at this point I'm still the idealist, and I'm really happy to be experiencing the spaceship to planet transitions. But you're just like viewing each level in and of itself, and this doesn't come off very well. I don't know. I kind of like it. Maybe my memory will be jogged, and I'll end up hating at the end of this.
I think it plays like garbage. I think
Yeah.
there's some interesting things in it, but
Maybe it's just the MIDI that just rubs me the right way.
that could be it. Entirely possible.
So we can't get over here. But we need to get over there. Which you have to somehow figure out. And I mean, this map is actually pretty small. There's not much to it. You just run around and you figure out what to do, and you pretty much just go through the map like twice.
This level, of course, was partially remixed with Joe Elliott's map 2, I believe it was, of Ty Haldeman tribute project.
Oh yeah.
Sorry for the reminder. Yeah. So it clearly has some currency in the community. I mean, it doesn't because he got banned, but sure.
And wait, when you said that Ty Haldeman did his own midis, so this should be.
I would have to
attributed
double
him.
check. I do actually have a list of all the ones that Tolan did. Keep calling him that. But I'm not sure if Tyleman filled in the rest. I'm aware of a couple.
More stuff.
The most
Boys,
necessary
light amp goggles.
I'm gonna have to mention that the chat's going haywire with the lagginess. Sorry, Captain.
Is that right?
Yeah, I wouldn't ordinarily disrupt, but apparently it's pretty hefty.
Okay. Oh, needed the key. Come
You
on.
always need the red key.
There we
That's
yeah, I
a
know.
piece
You
of
always need the red key. That's how it goes.
consistency that I like. Yeah, no, it's not a point against you. It's a point for the set.
Yeah.
See, at least you get to internally pace yourself. You know that you're gonna get to a ship map.
Yeah, let me try this.
Straight after Planet 1, so what is it that
That
Tansman
seems
said?
like a
with
really.
respect to,
That's
go on.
that's a really flimsy justification.
Yeah, oh no, it was intended as a joke completely.
Okay, that's what it was. God. I had uncapped frame rate turned on. Apologies. It's always something.
What were you saying? What it is that I said in relation?
No,
to
you were talking about the terribleness of one particular map set in the last 3 to 4 years, in which you said that you need to take a shit while playing it in order to ground yourself because it's that terrible. I'm just trying to remember which one that was.
So that was
So you can
another
let it pass
ship
through.
map. Who cares?
You
This
can
is
skip all the ship maps at this point.
the third
Simulator,
type,
yes.
The simulation maps, which probably a lot of people either love or hate depending on how they how much they love the Icarus theme in general. Because
I
these
just
maps
don't
are
get
just
it,
like whatever,
to be honest.
basically.
So
I
this
really
map
don't
is
get it.
supposed to be like an upside down map, but it's really bad at conveying that.
And you can kind of... I guess the first clue is supposed to be that there's sky on the floor.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but what's that thing on the ceiling?
Exactly.
Like-
It's not a
It's
table.
like a pool.
It's like a pool.
A pool of
yes.
I mean,
If you
there's
look at
a water
the hexagon
text,
or
but-
that pentagon. I mean, I'm pretty sure that it'll give maps stars or run for its money.
But yeah, the texturing in these maps and stuff can be pretty haywire at times.
Pretty haywire. Yeah. Okay.
MIDI is awful.
Well,
By
it's
awful,
simulation.
It's like
Completely
here's
appropriate
our
to level
shitty
it.
maps. What do we do with them? Do we just put them in one episode or what?
But do we call them simulations?
Yeah, this is not real, so don't take it seriously.
So apparently, Plutonia 3 came out, and it looks like this map.
Plutonia 3 going to surface.
Going to surface is the best part.
Was I think I was supposed to get a key in it. Well, whatever. So, I mean, I guess I'll play through this one because I think it's pretty short.
This MIDI sounds like fucking Crash Bandicoot having a heart attack.
There we go. Dude, nice
Was
hit.
that unpacked? Those supports?
Maybe? Oh, yes, these. I don't know. It kind of looked like it. It looked pretty crass. And then we have this teleporter maze thing. Which is really
Oh yeah,
navigated.
this part of the map.
And it's actually, it
So
is
what
a
do you-
maze, because there's two ways to go into it, and if you pick the wrong one, you gotta, like, re-go through it.
What do you think, dude? Do you actually believe that, like, playing its part in the community project, like these simulation levels simply were outliers that they wanted to somehow justify within the context of sort of Icarus story by calling them simulations? I think it was designed.
I would say they just had a bunch of crappy maps on their hands, and they still needed to fill out, you know, the entire map set, all the 32 maps. So they kind of like just shoved all the crap in.
There aren't many simulations. I don't think. I think it's mostly ship and level, and there's the occasional.
Oh, isn't it? You go to a ship level, then a planet level, then a ship level, then a simulation level, then a ship level.
That's not, it's not always that. I gave you a reference by type in the Discord.
You did, yeah. And I
Oh, yeah.
promised that I would say the
Look at
name
it.
of the level and the author whenever we get to a new level. But
I know,
it's
but I
only
also have it by
interesting.
type, so you can see how many there are of each.
Oh right, so you do. Let's have a look.
It is mostly, I think, ship and planet. There's like a point of almost 3 simulations in a row, but it is primarily the first 2 games.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay.
Okay, so we got our 3. Oh, hi there.
Like I would say, they just had a bunch of maps that didn't fit the rest of the themes. Like these some kind of like E4 texturing, hellish props or whatever. So they just called it simulation.
Probably.
So that was called
Thanks,
Flipside.
Cram.
Cram Lens.
The next level has a great fucking name.
Pet Rescue. PET Rescue. Oh, we can take a... I know the early maps are... Oh, this one's pretty bland. Oh, a lot of Icarus maps are pretty bland, aren't they?
Yep.
And that's
Okay, I remember this map.
that's kind of how Icarus ends up being. But I would like to postulate, perhaps, that Icarus still does a better job at doing what TeamTNT wanted it to do, as opposed to Evilution. And that was just
But if this
simply-
was made before, did they backtrack? And I find it hard to believe that they would go to the effort of sort of structuring the progression of the good job dying there. structuring the progression of the overall thing and then not doing that at all for TNT? Did they say it's like a step backwards? It is a step backwards.
Well, in TNT Evilution, that was, you know, that was before, basically. Most of the work had been done, or supposedly all of it, and then they went on to make Icarus, and meanwhile TNT languished, waiting for id Software to publish it. So you said...
They went on to make Icarus, but also released it 4 months earlier.
Right. Yes. That's what happened. That's what happened. You know, it was just the timing of everything kind of worked better. So this is
Donnybrook?
Yeah, Donnybrook, sorry.
Right, there's I'm not sure what the titular structure is supposed to be, but maybe it's just the name of the place at large. There's a puzzle, I think, surrounding the yellow key, which inspired this community project that never got off the ground. So we'll have a look at that, the uniqueness of it, and good job getting hit again.
So we'll take a quick look at it, right? I'll just run over to it. So here we are. This great puzzle. Do I get... No, I don't get started. Oh boy, okay, so there you are. There's gonna be a bunch of these things that open up each time. You gotta go to a new one. Oh wait, I messed up because I didn't press the switch. Because there's always a switch behind you. Now that one's open up. So now we have to find that one. I think it's...
Oh, did you take the time
here.
to pick up all this in the fear that you would get stuck here for 10, 20 minutes?
Yeah,
me a while to
because
get
first time I played this, I didn't know about the switches behind you, so I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Okay, so that's all 4 of them? Yeah, here we go. So now we're... No, wait, no, I didn't. I went to the wrong one. This one?
No.
Other side. So now we step backwards. So now we're forwards. And now that side has changed because you see it's all lit up and stuff. So now we got to do this side. And there's something here we got to do right over here.
What's important with puzzles, of course, and conveyance is that you need to establish some sort of trend
That changes.
throughout the overall episode or set or whatever, so that the player, when he gets to one, he's able to stop, prop, and assess what the hell's going on. Because too often in doing when a puzzle's thrown in, but you've been playing half an hour, 40 minutes to that point, and you know your inclination is simply to shoot first and essentially not think. And then you get to the puzzle, you end up flipping all the switches and not really applying your 2 noodles and figuring out what's actually happening. I think Icarus sets enough of a precedent that if you get to something like that, you are prepared to stop. Although, you know, I played this when I was a youngster, so
But Doom puzzles make you think eventually, like after desperately trying for 30 minutes to figure out what's going on.
Well, yeah.
Going
but I mean,
around in an empty map. You don't have anything to shoot.
You can be predisposed to pick up on the hints a lot earlier if the set sort of is structured that way. I mean, we're about to talk about Eternal Doom.
Yeah,
It takes a while to remember how to do this. It does.
It's like all the modern journalists talking about the frenetic pace of Doom and everything. They forgot that Doom is actually about wandering around an empty map, trying to figure out where that last switch is.
I don't mind Doom puzzles. I mind them when they get like fucking press the goddamn one line that's fucking 2 pixels wide in a bookshelf bullshit.
Right, you're right. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot
That's
the other switch.
not a puzzle. That's just obnoxious.
Gotta go back. There was another switch. There we go. So I can press that. Great. Wonderful. Then there's this part of it. Okay.
What we're trying to say is never play Uranium.
Yep. And here we go. And how did you get over there, good fella?
I would say it's like still a leftover from the 90s RPG dungeon type games, where it was like daily bread to just hunt for switches.
So
Well,
this
with the
is
benefit of
hardest
2020 hindsight, I feel like now we should be able to take the best of that time and apply it, and then weed out the worst, which is what the map sets from this era failed to do. They, applied everything across the board.
Ugh, almost. You're expected to do that, by the way. Okay, so in we go. Open the door. Teleport again. Back. And
No,
stuff.
you fucked up because you didn't wait for the door to open. Or door to close. Grab those rockets behind you. They're pissing me off.
No, never mind. Whatever. I don't care. I've been doing just fine. So now we got the goddamn yellow key. And now we can continue through the level. Although at this point the level's pretty whatever.
Alright, folks, if you're convinced, sign yourself up for Donnybrooking.
It's probably the
Hey,
best
maybe
map in
it's-
Icarus, to be honest.
Feeding
the moat
frenzy.
is-
Feeding
Oh yeah, no,
frenzy.
I lied. Yeah, feeding frenzy by far. I keep forgetting. It's not so good. We just go to 11, honestly.
Yeah, I
This
know.
is
I'm
the
just-
moat.
Oh yeah. Well, I like the begin. Here, we'll just show off the beginning of this one. I like this simulation.
Oh, this is the moat.
Yep.
This feels like something out of Earth.WAD, to be honest. It just needs like some Cyndi Lauper shit playing.
Maybe I was just in love with the fact that someone used 10
Wow.
on too.
Nice.
Good job, yeah. Good job, block
Fantastic.
map. I think you didn't even land a single pellet.
So who made that map?
That's Mendeo, right?
This one?
Yeah, the moat?
That's
Or Menser.
David Hill?
Menser, that's it.
yeah. The same guy who made Donnybrook.
Yeah, he also made Baron's Den.
No, the moat was by David Hill. That's the same guy who made
That's Menser.
That's Menser.
That's Spence. Okay. Right. Yes. Fuck names.
So this is Feeding Frenzy, and it's
wish
actually...
While we're on it,
legitimately
who the
great
hell's
map.
Foo on that Discord channel?
Grain of salt.
You say, yeah, I never would have known that on sales.
Who is Grain of Salt?
It's food.
I'm trying to remember where I know Grain of Salt from.
She makes maps for slaughter, mostly.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, feeding frenzy. It kind of looks like a restaurant, kind of, very loosely, but it's got charm. And that's all that a restaurant really is.
Are we all at ease with the term representationalism instead of realism in Doom?
I wish.
Is
I
that,
wish
is that something I can use freely and everyone knows what the bloody hell I'm talking about?
What?
Representationalism versus realism. We're talking about things, well, just, using textures and sector work in order to convey things, but not fully, and certainly not in the way that makes you believe for a second that that is, in fact, what it is.
Here's the bathroom stalls. I don't know which is male and female. They have zombie and imp. So I don't even know if there is like anything
Well,
else
imps are
going on.
clearly female, so...
Oh yeah, and this is the best part. I guess no. This would be male because this is a urinal, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. Anyway, so the best part is that these toilets have a switch. And that's how you get the item.
Is the rocket supposed to be, do you
Well-
plan on putting that into your rocket launcher?
I mean, eventually, yeah.
It's gonna get lost in the, in the cache.
Oh, and I love that they just put the red key card here because it's gonna be forever until you get it.
King-size toilets for a king-size meal.
Well, it's a better restaurant map than Shadow Warrior.
Yeah, it is. This straight up is a great map.
Getting the blue key requires you to do this. How would you ever know that? I don't know.
Get lost.
The same way you'd find the red key in Baron's Den.
Yeah, I guess.
Just
Anyway, it took
fucking
me a
do
very
it.
long time to find this key. And then it took me a very long time to find the next one. But yeah, that's how you get progress. in this game.
Mandatory secrets.
Mandatory secrets are great. Hell, the Citadel, you can't get a key without going through a secret. Like any key. They're all secrets.
And
I
so the
just
map
wish
keeps
the map
going
had
on.
like a better MIDI.
Yeah, that's
it
the
gets
one thing.
grating.
Hit id muse like 02 or 07.
Huh?
Type id muse 02 or 07.
I think it's
Oh.
damaging invincibilities.
Right.
Confronting them. So what Do was talking about with regards to sort of dungeon-esque elements of the 90s being carried into these sets. I think actually let me come back to that. Just want to double check it. No secrets. Mandatory secrets that aren't necessarily difficult to find. They're simply there to sort of maintain that impression that you're moving through a mysterious space. I feel like that's something that may have been executed for that reason. Certainly by Peterson, because he was a big fan of the dungeons.
So they aren't actually like, oh, you found the secret closet with the extra goodies, but
they keep going. You're in a mysterious, strange world. And
that would make
this
sense
the right
if the
direction.
secret is revealed showed up in the original game, which it didn't.
makes you wonder if they had that feature somehow.
That's true. You've completely caught me out there, Captain. Good job. Rockets. Nice. Just link on that.
This-
Loss
this
of the
level.
many.
I'll just show a little bit of the ending. This is
So
a...
you play this film out.
Oh god, this part right here. Oh, this is so
This is
good.
bad.
Mastermind, isn't it?
Yeah, it has that.
And this has infinite tall actors, so it's great trying to get through it.
It really is.
Twice.
Yep.
You can actually get in quite a lot of ammo trouble in this map.
Yeah, I would know.
And then you lower, you go through that, and it lowers the spider
I
behind
don't
it.
know why. It's like a gallows or something. I don't know. And you
Reverse
press this,
guillotine.
And then out comes a spider mastermind. It's very easy to have ammo problems. And you basically have to kill this thing because the exit's over here. These are good partial invisibilities, clearly, behind the mastermind.
I have to say, I'm not sure if it's the source board and the fact that I'm constantly switching between them and it's confusing me, but I still don't quite understand how monster infighting thresholds work. Considering I can wake up a monster, it can see me, get hit by another monster, and still continue to attack me.
There's a
Can
timing
anyone explain that?
aspect. It
Yeah,
takes
I'm familiar
X
with
number
that.
of seconds.
Yes.
And then it has to have a pain chance at that time. Or a pain state. It has to pain state at that time.
Well, I mean, I've seen monsters
Good job.
not
with that
enter their
rabbit.
pain state and then still chase after
Oh, this
another
is
monster
just-
when it. I don't understand. I don't get it. Oh, is this the level that destroys you immediately at the start with the barrels? Yes, it is. Map 12. Let's see if you can escape it.
Nice.
No, you didn't. Let's try again. Oh
And
no,
the
I
MIDI.
want to see
Like
you
the
do
worst
it.
map with the best MIDI.
Oh man, 1%. I did it.
Do it. Oh, what the? Good.
I
I'm
did
glad
it.
that didn't work.
1%.
Try again. You didn't do it. Get out of the area.
So
Fucking
I
dead.
think
Try
what
it
you're
again.
supposed to do is have the sergeant kind of like take the hit for you, but I could never get that to
Oh.
work. So eventually I just learned how to get through without even getting hit by the barrels.
Counting them to 5.
Oh, almost. I did get through though, so whatever.
Okay. Good job. This level also, I understand you can get... It's not winnable, I think, at a certain point, or is it a compatibility issue? No. Can't remember who raised that complaint, but you can get lost in this and fail to complete it, I think.
It's a weird level. It requires you to go... I didn't even notice this, but eventually there's a box that goes up here, so you can actually make your way over to this spot and get a key. Or at least access.
The crate grows up.
Yeah. I don't know where, but I know I was
Apparently.
lost, and eventually I just said, okay, I'll try this. Not realizing that something had actually changed. Anyway, the gimmick of this level aesthetically is that there's freaking hydro what's-its. These are plants.
Hydroponics.
Yeah. So yeah, see, look at these. The pumpkins, delicious.
The pipe texture on the wall, by the way, is
Eggplant.
just.
Man, that's not a very healthy color for a punk. That's riddled with something.
I
Well,
think it's
that's
actually
before the
really
lights are
orange if you turn the lights on now.
Yeah, I forget. Is it this?
Awesome.
Maybe? There. Did I do it? Something does it. I don't remember what. We don't have time to go through the level though. And they have 2 megaspheres in this level. It's pretty good. This level. I'm not sure what to show off in this one. It takes forever to get to anything. So maybe I'll note that it's the only major ship level with metal instead of silver. And
Isn't this supposed to be like the reactor room?
well, you guys have the map titles.
Oh,
Waste
God.
disposal.
I am partial in a nostalgic way to that waterfall texture, which no one ever uses because it is in fact worse.
What is the waterfall texture that nobody ever uses?
Well, it featured at the start of this level. Captain just walked past, but
Here, we can check. This thing?
you know,
Oh yeah, that waterfall texture. Which is
I
funny
mean, it's.
because
I mean,
TNT, or like Evilution has a better waterfall texture in it.
is that the one
It's the one everybody uses.
which is just a recolor of a nuke? Because that's the thing though. It's not supposed to be that viscous. So even though this looks worse, it is probably more accurate. Dumb.
But yeah, lots of really tight hallways and stuff. You see a lot of that in Icarus, especially in some of the ship maps. But this is also where the secret exit comes in. And look at that! Top secret! Oh boy. Restricted. Let's see
And
what
it's
it
a
is.
simulation level. Can't wait.
Because it's so bad, no one wants you to see it. That's why.
Is this the one with all the eyes, or is that in Hell to Pay?
Here we go.
Yeah, that's in Hell to Pay. This is. Oh, this fucking map.
Oh, it's not so bad if you can find the secret.
Always with the conditionals.
Right here. Well, that's like how you beat TNT maps pistol start. You find the secrets.
That's how you beat Doom 2 maps pistol sword. That's honestly what everybody should balance their pistol swords with. There, I said it.
I mean, if more people did it, I'd probably be better at finding secrets. Just have to.
That's what I've started balancing my pistol swords to. It's just, you know, I find that helps balance continuous too, because then, you know, people who are playing continuous aren't getting the secrets. They're a lot less likely to have a shit.
That's
ton
true.
fucked up.
That's true.
And then this part. Oh, this part's so silly.
In fact, I recently discovered that Hellbent's Map 12, The Quarry, that failed to get into Doom 2 the way it did, is in fact the best level ever made. We fucked up for that exact reason.
Is that
It is
not
the perfect
beatable?
level for pistol start. Yeah.
Is it beatable?
Yeah, it's extremely difficult. In continuous, you'd probably
When is-
miss half the content.
When is Lost Levels coming?
Pretty soon. With Stazer and I
Don't
fixed
you
up
mean
the-
Apocrypha? I thought you settled on that.
Great.
Yeah, whatever. I did that on purpose. Moving on.
Okay.
Just to this other... Honestly, the secret levels in this are really bland.
Except for the music.
Well, yeah, this is a good song.
Oh yes, this MIDI.
Hello, Caesar. What's happening in this sector.wad?
There's a bunch of Caco demons, and they start showing you these targets. TMT.
This is really yeah, but this map is really like trying to show off some sector trickery.
And there's all those barrels, and they don't do anything. Just kill 'em. I guess maybe you lure the demons in? I don't know.
Yes, probably.
'Cause I don't think there's enough ammo to kill them otherwise.
Well, you get the chainsaw.
God,
And
this-
there is enough ammo, by the way. They have ammo.
Chainsawing demons. Ugh.
But yeah, actually, like TeamTNT had some talent that like knew mapping tricks quite early. So like in Icarus they show off some cool stuff that didn't make it into TNT, I guess. Into Evilution. You've got deep water there.
Yeah, it's
There actually
Silent
is deep
building.
water in Evolution in Human Barbecue.
Ah, okay.
Thanks, Ty.
So anyway, moving on. This level really, I think this and the next one really kick your ass on pistol start. There's like a cyber demon section here, just in like a short hallway that you have to navigate around, and by the time you turn here, there's an archvile in it. Tough stuff.
Excellent.
And this one, God, this one. I'm not even gonna spend too much time on it because it takes forever to get started. But there's very little ammo in this one, and so they give you lots of barons and stuff to fight. It's really hard. And also figuring out this friggin' secret over here. Which I can't even get. It is really nope. But you have to make a diagonal jump off of that to get up to here.
It's kind of brutal, honestly.
Yeah. And then you get a Baron out here, and an Archvile and 2 Revenants, and you barely even have ammo for your super shotgun.
Did you take the time to familiarize yourself with these levels ahead? Or was
A
this
little bit.
partially from... Okay.
A little bit. I didn't get as much time for Eternal doing those.
I'm just wondering how much, to what extent I have to be disappointed in you.
Oh, this one's pretty good. I
Knowing
like
these levels
this
in
one.
advance.
And it's
Oh, is
important.
this has a cyber at the end, is that right? It's a giant
Yeah, at the
warehouse
end of it.
level? Okay.
Kind of reminds me
Yep.
of something from Back to Center X did in one of the much later levels, where you have that final arena with the Cyber Demon in it. I know it's not the same setup. They don't use teleporters there, but
Oh, are you talking about Never Gonna Have to Die?
I think so, yeah. Where you get the Megasphere for it.
Yeah, it's Never Gonna Have to Die.
The only BTSX E1 level I get lost in.
Dude, you should have seen it before Skillsaw kind of like adjusted it to kind of be less like that. Yeah, it used to be a lot worse. Part of that was texturing.
Oh, I did a great job. Oh, and here come the teleports. Yeah, I'm dead. This is a rough
This is an
level.
Andrew Dowswell level. I was actually going to impersonate Dowswell for Evolution in the late TNT. So.
Oh, I didn't know there was a BFG here. Huh. Cool. But the way that
you
this
pretty
level
much
Dude
have
who
to
did
get
prison.
it.
you have
You
to
pretty
grab
much have to get it. The BFG to kill all the barons that suddenly appear on the map.
Yeah, well, I didn't kill them all, but I did manage to finish them. But yeah, the way this level works is that there's... Okay. Here we go. There it is with the zeroing of the damn invisible everything else. But there's a bunch of switches on the sides, and you have to push them, and you got to get the yellow key and the blue key to make your way through all this area right here. And then you get to this final arena. This final arena is really kind of neat. Because of this cyber demon that starts teleporting around everywhere. He's a real bastard. But if you know what you're doing, you can teleport around to get another invulnerability. And maybe if you're really lucky, you can teleport on the cyber demon. So, that's a rough one. Is this one? No, let's skip. This is the real flip level that you know is a flip level.
Wait, this is a flip level?
Well, it's made a little too obvious because you go to this area and it's one way, and then you go to the other side.
But who would put lights on the floor?
No, but,
Oh, you
but
said-
it looks
oh,
like
I-
this.
it's
I mean, it's
symmetrical.
incredibly obvious.
Oh, okay.
This point.
Well, I don't know. I never pay attention enough to notice these things. So play the level.
And as it turns out, the two keys are in the same spot in the map, but they're because it's flipped, it requires different ways of getting it. But there's another big level. Just wanted to show that. Moving on. This one? Yes. Or Planetside. This one starts very Unholy Cathedral-esque. It's even got... They have like 30 different textures for graves in the WAD resource.
Right, yeah, because
You need 30 different textures for grade.
I know that's even more than Hexenbot.
they have like the credits for all the team members on them, right? That's
Yeah.
why.
Where's that? Where? You got distance.
And Mark would like us to go back to level 21 because apparently there is some spectacular progression that he would like to call attention.
Okay, okay, but I just wanted to show off. There's Lens. Friggin' boring.
Good job, Cram.
Or was it the one before it?
They buried your maps along with your name.
Tom Mustang. He's got a big old. He's got like a real grave here. Everybody else got unburied graves, I guess. What was that saying? Something about Tom Mustang? Okay, 20.
These maps were toxic.
Yeah, this one's pretty rough. Ugh, I want this started.
Are you aware which progression quirk Mark speaks of?
Not off the bat. I know that there's some.
It's funny now, he informs me. Yeah, I think it's the de facto shit, man.
Oh, you were talking about this one. Yeah, I know that one. That one's. Yes, I know what you're talking about in that one. Fine, I'll show that off. That one had me stumped for a very long time. He's talking about this map. I think it's this side. No, it's not the upside down side. It's the right side. It's the part with the key. So you get here and you think, oh, well, I push the switch and that brings this down, so I run around the side and maybe do something. But no, nothing actually happens. And you're just like, well, what the heck? So you go through all this, you go through the other side, you get that key lickety-split. And then you realize, oh, I press this switch, and the other side magically closes.
No.
Oh, okay, you're also talking about that. Fine, we'll show that too. Yeah, there's... TeamTNT loved puzzles even when it wasn't doing puzzles yet. But yeah, you shoot that, and that actually raises this switch.
My god.
And then you do the same thing for the other one, but hopefully by then you know it. So that's pretty good.
So you basically have to shoot the door out of frustration.
Yep,
or you
pretty
just
much.
know that it works. And you just start pressing randomly in places. But yeah.
Have to pay the fare of despair.
Yeah, well, you know, that's why everybody should have to play Maximum Doom, so you just, like, innately programmed to press
So we
E.
can be equally as jaded as you.
Well, no, it innately programs you to have to use, like, just shoot and press use on every single thing you run across.
So this is
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
talk about this level.
how to fight ghost monsters.
Oh, yeah, this is great.
And of course, as I was a child, like I would just ignore the pictures
you
because
can-
let's just play Doom. And I got stuck.
Like, you can tell they were really afraid to unleash the gimmick because they show you on the pictures and they put a demo in the in-game demo loop showing you how to fight them.
I totally missed the actual weapons in this level. I know there's a couple... Where is the spot? I think there's two different spots where they show off the ghost monsters. But yes, the gimmick is what's now known as ghost monsters. And the way that the gimmick works is that if an archvile resurrects something that's been crushed, it no longer has a proper collision box. And as a result, these enemies cannot be, like, collided against with normal weaponry. And they just run through walls. It's pretty crazy.
I think technically they can actually. Doom might be able to correct me on this. Who knows? The chances are infinitesimally small.
Oh yeah, you
to
you actually
narrow in
yeah
precisely.
right. You actually can hit them. I think the Time of Death made a map where you can actually, like, he proves that. But I'm not sure. They're like really
Hey, here we
tiny. like hate-wise, so
Right. So the conventional
lock
method
on
is
them.
to get out a rocket launcher and then lure the ghost next to a wall and sign the wall, as the tutorial there demonstrates. The great thing about this, which I haven't actually seen executed deliberately in any map, is that pain elementals, of course, and lost souls, while they cannot ordinarily be resurrected because they don't leave corpses, they can be crushed if the door or ceiling closes on them during their death animation.
right.
That means they can also be resurrected. So I want to see some ghost elementals, people.
They should be getting. I must be thinking of a different spot. Just hit all of these. I could have sworn that some of them started getting crushed here. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. So they got crushed this time correctly. Now, come on. Come on, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Come on.
They can't actually jump up, like... Oh.
There's one. Okay. So this guy... These guys are actually just gonna walk through the walls. Damn it, are you going to or not? Come on. Like, stop. Like, they're doing it
They
in all
pick
the
and
wrong
choose
ways.
when to
Yeah.
defy the laws of Doom physics.
And so, yeah, you can't really kill these guys easily, except for splash damage. And that's how they work. Pretty nifty. And this is really like the first major recorded instance of showing them off.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't it because? And now I know the time of death level you're talking about. Isn't it because their hitbox is actually still the pool of blood?
Yeah, something like that. They're really, really tiny in hate.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, we showed it off. There's another spot where it happens. Whatever. I just wanted to show it off.
I think in select ports they're rendered as translucent, but only on specific maps. Like they have to be hard coded into the not hard coded, but coded into the port. Is that right, dude? Although I'm not sure at the moment. I think I loaded up a fairly recent level which couldn't have been coded into the engine, and they still displayed as translucent. So maybe that's since been fixed.
I'm trying to remember if there's anything significant. I think at this point, I'm just going to go to map 30 because it's recognizable even if it's what it is. Terrible. Yep.
What is this pop song? This is definitely a pop song. I just don't know which one.
Dude, I could have gotten killed by that amp. So yeah, this is
That is a
the
horrendous texture. A mega texture, even.
It's a wonderful texture.
I do admire how it appears to be because of the floor going up and down repeatedly, scrolling and in 2 dimensions.
Yeah, it tries to be a clever gimmick, but it plays pretty harsh.
You have to like teleport your way up here or something. And then you get to shoot this thing. There's Romero's head in there.
Oh god, I forgot it was that bizarre. That is... It's dumb.
And that's on the ship. I don't even know how the plot is supposed to make use of that, but
Yeah.
it's supposed to be on the ship.
So Icarus is something that I definitely admire from an idealist's point of view with respect to the way it's structured as a whole, and some of the individual ideas thrown around in there. I think there's a lot we could learn from it with respect to that structuring. Especially considering it's a community project and the way they're able to hold cohesion like that. Although I do also agree with Do, I think those simulation levels are just sort of...
Well, I'd say Icarus is more experimental. They just went wild with all the trickery they gained knowledge of.
You mean even for the time, rather than as a product of the time? It's just something they...
Yeah, I would say definitely. Imagine if this was the commercial product. That would probably turn some heads.
And yet I
Tungsten.
still think it did a better
Still
job
honestly.
in what TeamTNT was aiming for. Even if the gameplay doesn't hold up, I still think there's more of a Wolf 3D sci-fi clone in here than Evilution.
Yeah, I can see that.
that's why I think it did a better job. Because I think that's what Team TNT was aiming for. It was aiming for something that was Doom and yet not Doom. I don't know. But
It would
do you
only
have any
be
final
another
thoughts?
year before we get to insertion.wad, which of course claims to be locking and loading Doom for the final time. I always found that hilarious, the WADs in 1997, just before Quake came along, giving their last hurrah with the anticipation that, you know, we wouldn't be around to play this next year. Oh boy. Yeah, did you have any final thoughts, Stars?
Perfect.
Wait for it. Wait for
Anyway,
it.
let's move on to Eternal Doom. And
I don't
the
really
first-
have anything for Icarus that could be said. Like everything about Icarus is like really easy to sum up. We've already touched on it, so no, I don't know.
All right, fair enough. I mean, it is what it is. It's shorter than Evilution. It's actually pretty bite-sized, especially if you play continuous. And, yeah, I mean, it does. I
Yeah.
think it does the themes well, but it doesn't. They still didn't know how to do. The way I would put it is that Team TNT, in a sense, was almost on the wrong side of history when it came to how to make WADs, and they kept going in the wrong direction. So Icarus is kind of even less salvageable than Evilution when it comes to just the combat and stuff.
It's
Yeah,
also
I think-
totally disqualified from Doom World Iron Man League because everyone will just die on map 1. But even though they would survive all the way from map 2, probably to like map mid-20s.
But TNT, like in TNT, the maps grow. Like you have the sense of progression because you have those epic final maps. Here, it's all bite-sized collection of pretty much the same all the way through.
All right, so the first thing I want to show off is that Eternal Doom actually had like a big production of how it portrayed itself, and it even came with its own launcher. And although I couldn't quite get the game to launch via the launcher, I can still show off the launcher.
Welcome to Eternal Doom.
And yeah, it's it's good old DOS launcher type stuff. It's pretty crazy. looking.
Yikes.
Whoops.
I
that's-
never even knew about that. That's fucking great.
No, it kind of makes
There we
me hanker for the days of info packs as well. Even though we have tools these days that can do everything an info pack does, but better. But you want that cheesy sort of lo-fi.
And yeah, you can set stuff.
effect
You can choose what map you want, skills, parameters, whether you got any demos loaded, stuff of that nature, basically. And you can additionally like change up how the skies work and stuff, because that was something special. In Eternal Doom, there's only one sky for the entire game, but depending on what time of day, if you select Update Skies, it'll actually give you a different sky. And you'll see this blue one, but there's also like a night one, which is just like stars and on black. And they also have like a yellow, orangish type, kind of like the Doom 1 E4. But that's complicated to
that's
set
the-
up, and I didn't want to spend
Like
too much.
it's the dumbest idea ever, but thanks for trying.
Is that like the fucking was it gold and silver and crystal Pokemon where like you had to it had the actual internal clock and you can only do shit during certain times of the day?
Well, that is in Pokemon. Yeah, I mean, kind of. It'll check your system's clock. Those actually needed a battery in order to do that. The cartridges themselves. Anyway, let's move on to Eternal Doom itself. And for this, I actually managed to find the Weeds GM sound font, which is used specifically for Rich Nagel's, also known as Weeds, soundtrack for Eternal Doom.
Which is actually pretty bad, might I add.
Well, maybe you'll change your mind a bit when you hear it.
Through the aesthetic of Weeds GM.
Maybe.
I mean, nothing is going to help the fact that there are some terrible compositions. I can't stand the OST for Eternal Doom. I think some folks might be nostalgic to it, but all the bongos and shit just rub me the wrong way after 24,000 hours pumping balls for finding switches. Ugh.
So, Eternal Doom. Eternal Doom actually is technically Eternal Doom 3. Eternal Doom itself was patched twice, and you had the installments Eternal Doom 1, Eternal Doom 2, and Eternal Doom 3. 3 finally coming out in late 1997. Now, the original 12 map pack was actually created by, I think, what had been called Team Eternity at the time. No relation to the current Team Eternity that now works on the Eternity engine. But,
Wait, it was Team Eternal?
I don't know the name. I really can't find like too much on that. But if you go to TeamTNT's website, they show off the credits of the previous like team, and I think they called it Team Eternity. So, Team Eternal, excuse me. It's called Team Eternal. That's sorry. Very similar.
Adam
names.
Landerfield, Alex Mayberry, Bob Evans, Christopher Cooler, Dave Brachman,
Christopher
David
Cooler?
Brunei.
Those name's Cooler?
Collier?
Well, yeah, well, I mean, I'm not going to pronounce it correctly, am I? Me being me.
Oh, Christopher Collier. Okay.
So yeah, the first 12 maps were made by a completely different team before Team TNT actually picked it up, and then went on to help out with the second and third installments.
This song is making me want to, like, not do Evilution of the WAD. Can we just play Daggerfall instead?
Yeah,
So
but
anyway.
Daggerfall without guns.
Yeah.
I'm also running the Eternal, the Eternal dehack patch, which doesn't really change a lot, but it makes it so that all of the codes are like special instead of being normal. Like instead of typing ID clip, I have to type TE clip.
Oh, you can do that?
Apparently, yeah, in dehack patch.
Can we
Why do you want to
integrate
change the
that into
BTSX codes
Square?
to be like?
No, Square.
Well, that's a ZDoom thing. That's, unless
Yeah,
you're
but
using
ZDoom
dehack.
loads DHack. Yeah, ZDoom loads DHack.
Well, I mean, look into this one, I guess. Anyway, so the start and dang it.
Wasn't that actually a feature that Jimmy wanted Graph to put into ZDoom, and Graph was like, no. To change the cheats, and Graph was like, just use the console for it. Fuck cheats.
Oh, I can't. Because Eternal Doom maps are big. They are really, really big. I would say that even more so than certain vanilla maps. You would be like certain modern maps that kind of stretch the limits, like in DTSX. You would be surprised to see just how much can fit in Eternal Doom maps.
Yeah,
It also
but,
doesn't help that they're very
it's-
spindly. So
Archer on
Yes.
vanilla?
Well, the
That's-
illusion of size, of course, is helped by the fact that you're going to spend most of that time not knowing where the bloody hell you're going.
Yeah, that's the trope, or the like what's Eternal Doom known for. That you just wander around these hallways, meeting barely any opposition, and just going back and forth all the time.
because Eternal Doom also has puzzles, and if you think some of the... We haven't really been able to show off too many of just how evil Evilution and Icarus could get. Occasionally, things here and there, but Eternal Doom makes it a habit. It makes it... It's almost pathological in how much it chooses to try to baffle the player.
Well, it hangs its hat on obscurity rather than puzzles as a means of entertainment somehow. It's plainly intentional, but I would argue that puzzles require that you have to use your noodle, apply your cognitive prowess in order to deduce something, whereas in Eternal Doom, most of the time at least, it's all about just observational ability, or being lost sufficiently that you're going to start searching in areas that you wouldn't have ordinarily.
Again,
And it starts as early as map 2.
That's the 90s logic of
Yes,
dungeon
yeah.
crawling. You will
So I
eventually
wouldn't say puzzles.
find-
I wouldn't say it has many puzzles at all.
What has puzzling progression? Confunding
Yes.
progression? I don't know.
Confounding, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Why did I say... I feel like
You're
confunding
spending
is
too
a
much
word
time
I've
in my
heard
company.
before.
And I'm usually the one making that error.
I could have sworn that by running around enough you eventually get this active. But yes, so we're
It
already
began-
like started on the first map, and I don't know how to get out of this crate room. It's not even a maze.
Tarsman and I were actually engaged in an Eternal Doom race at one point. and I think we made it to map 7 before assuring each other that we would return to it the next time we logged on, and we simply didn't because in our heart of hearts we knew it was a dumb idea.
Yeah, it really was.
Although
haven't
Ansel
even
seemed to be
reached,
enduring it.
you haven't
enjoy it.
even reached map 12 in
Yeah.
that race, and you already gave up.
Dark Dome. So anyway, I'm already getting lost, clearly. I have not spent enough time properly handling...
Ghost mode.
Yeah, so
Oh,
like I said,
fancy.
they changed the cheats. I have to type TE clip to ghost mode.
To ghost mode, I'll ghost your mode.
And like, what would ammo and weapons? They still call it very heavy.
Yeah, it's still very heavy.
Yeah, Eternal Guy has some very stiff shoulders. I feel even more rigid than Doom Guy is usually.
Yeah, is it TEDP? There we go.
It's all about the facial features.
But so, like, gosh, and then it's TE Clev. I'm just so used to typing it. But yeah, these levels are they're pretty spindly, and they're pretty big feeling at most times.
Hey, ask TeamTNT too about the futility of getting glass textures to work in vanilla.
Well, it's either going to be solid or it's not.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to add something, but then it just looks like streaks of mess, yeah.
But yeah, I think there's a bunch of sewers in this level. Is that what I'm remembering here? Or is it the next
This is
one?
map 4.
This is I know 4 has sewers, but this one has like this section where you're
I'm pretty sure it's map 4. And there's like a
Probably-
spider mastermind at the end of it.
yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's map 4. That's map 4.
This one.
That's the one that starts
ends
with like the
courtyard.
crate room. Yeah.
Here we go. Yeah, look at these. Look at these enjoyable crate mazes. Well, this is
my.
actually just a crate maze right here, but everything.
God,
else-
look at the giant looping hallway around the...
Yeah, this is a big old sewer.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
that's a sewer, yeah.
And they'll show it. See, one of the nice things, one of the definitely redeeming features of Eternal Doom, is that it does still hold up aesthetically. You know, it still
yeah,
looks
this looks
good.
pretty neat. I love the torn Star Tan-ish wallpaper,
Yeah, that sounds great.
which makes me question what material Star Tan was supposed to be in the first place. I thought it was supposed to be sort of metal riveted
Look at
thing, apparently.
I like the
And
bathroom.
to this day, some people swear by Eternal Doom. Like, you have like mappers who just love their Eternal Doom, including one certain Russian who owns the most awards in history.
And
Mm.
also is named after. Am I
Right.
correct?
Yeah, Alexander S. Calls himself Eternal, which
Well,
is
yeah. I think when many level designers like to contend the notion that is held by many people these days that Doom is about, it's more of an actioneer. It's very easy to fall back on something like Eternal Doom to properly sort of espouse the beliefs that it's actually more explorative and these are elements that have been forgotten. And there's a lot of bad that goes with the good there, but it's easy to see why that's what some people do. Because it's quite ostensibly like that.
Well, and that kind of goes back to, and I don't know if it's the right way to put it, but just Team TNT being on the wrong side of how to make Doom maps as history went on.
Right, yeah.
These days, Plutonia is considered the standard. Evolution is considered like chaff.
Hey, look, we actually snuck in some evolution into Evolution of the WAD.
Some people would probably disagree with you. I mean, like,
Well, they would, yes, of course. But as far as like you see the maps that come on Doom World, what are people enjoying the most? The
Right, yeah.
Valiants, and the
even the TNT2 projects, they borrow gameplay from Plutonia, I would say, more than TNT actually.
That's because you haven't played Habitat 2.
here's the
Damn.
No, I meant that the projects that are already out, not some pie in the sky projects that will never come out.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's true. Thank you for that.
So this is the final level, at least in this part of the map set, that still uses like futuristic sci-fi textures. because the plot of this game is that instead of there being teleporters, it's time travel. And demons have hijacked time travel to go back to the Middle Ages and stop humanity from even existing in the modern day.
But then who would they torture? That's not very demonic.
Well, who even knows if it's hell? They always talk about it in vague terms. The TNT stuff.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there's often an attempt to. They use the same monster sprites and everything, but
As though from hell, without actually
Yes,
directly
yeah.
referencing it.
So they're aliens in TNT?
Who knows? They're demonic presences. I guess they would have to be aliens or maybe interdimensional beings, or.
But they still speak English though.
Yeah, of course.
He's over there.
Pretty much. Oh yeah, and one thing I haven't shown off. I'll try to. The zombie men actually have different sound effects. What would be a good level? I guess I'll just try to find a spot in this level where they wake up. Yeah. Hear the laugh.
But it's still mixed with the stock sounds.
Yes,
which is
yeah.
weird.
It is, right.
Wait, this hallway right here with the fucking...
some of them are not coherent. So,
Yeah. But I just wanted to show that off. Time gate access card. Allow 4 seconds per lock for security check. Apologies to those with
yeah, with epilepsy, correct. Yeah, avert your eyes. I always maintain that every level with this sort of visual style should have a little light amplification visor compartment for health and safety reasons. Finally, there's
This one
a use
is
that item.
really special. This one is really laying it on. I would say that.
Damn, that is aggressive. Yeah, I'm having to squint actually.
It's great.
But yeah, that map's called and the DAC patch also changes the map. So this is Time Gate. I forget who made it.
Well, this is where we stopped, Stans.
Timegate is by Sverre. Sverre
Okay.
Kvermo.
Yeah, he makes some. He also makes Dark Dome, right? Map 12.
Yeah, and he's Plasma Plant looks like kind of like this, I guess. So
does, yeah.
he's sticking with his themes throughout the
Picked up
decade.
where he left off. 15 years ago.
Figuring out how to do this. I mean, it's it's like we gotta unleash all of the locks and stuff. It's a big deal. Where do
How did I better figure it out quick? Because I'm genuinely getting a headache. And like
No, I
get
don't-
the
once you
stream
get in
combined
this
with
room,
that.
I'm pretty sure you're
Perfect
good.
combination.
Well, I've probably just not unlocked enough or something. So.
Yeah, that might be it.
That's not it. That's not it at all.
Oh, can we talk how terrible those imp recolors are?
Oh yeah, they're abysmal.
I don't know why they changed just the imps. Like the monster you use the most, and they just made it worse. And even the projectile is terrible, recolored to something like it just doesn't have the crispy definition. It's just a mess of one color.
Well, that is a trend that has all but been left behind, save for in Russia, where as recently as the old megawatt, they've been throwing in sound replacements and sprite replacements that are a little bit.
Russians love their Eternal Doom, and they include the crappy imp for some reason. I can't really fathom.
So yeah, this is the time gate. Whatever. I've skipped a lot of this level. I've probably missed some triggers here and there. So yeah. But Eternal Doom then moves on to this.
I actually think the next level is really cool. No, not this level, but I think it might be map 11.
But I'll just show off the beginning here. This is your first. This is your introduction into the past, which is medieval castle, Hexen 2-ish almost. Maybe more like Hexen 1. I was gonna say the texturing reminds me more of Hexen 2. But, Or that door.
Is,
Good door.
is this
Are we
like a
reserving
proof?
any time today to look at Eternal Doom 4 Return to
No, that'll
Oblivion?
be in like the next episode probably. Where we
Right, okay.
Well, either that one or the one after it, which will be like, because I want to. Boom Engine is next, and I want to show off Boom.
Oh,
stuff.
very good. Yeah.
And then we'll go through, I think. But yeah, so now we're getting into. I mean, we got like these stained glass windows that are clearly from, I think, Heretic. That's a Heretic one.
Yeah,
And,
the character is, yeah.
So is this like a proof that even shotguns wouldn't save Heretic?
Nice. And there's the Hexen Yorick right there. Any of these levels are big. These levels are quite big.
Just look at that. Oh no. That hurts my soul. Just look at that.
Why is it? Because it's diagonal? Should I put it just like?
It's because it's no. Well, no.
Way out, but-
But just so
just
many
hallways.
hallways, right? Hallways.
Well, as a cat has just gone to town on a ball of wool, and then the result
and
has been
every
that.
time-
Detailing. Look at this detailing.
Yeah, it's lovely, but every time you meet like two imps or a mancubus in these hallways, and then you just plop them to death with whatever you're holding, it's just not very riveting gameplay.
It's miserable, is what it is.
Right.
Did that SSG have its own burial chamber?
You did.
Yes.
Is that supposed to be symbolic of something?
Yes.
You won't be expected to find the mid-tier here, just imps and corridors.
The main problem with Eternal Doom, I'd say, is its like girth might even be the better way to put it. The fact that these levels end up being pretty sparsely laid out is not in its favor at all. And there are some good combat sections, but they are far and away the exception more than they are the standard. You know, they make
If only
pretty
the
good
combat was as colorful as the texture selection here.
Right. and mostly it's just run around in hallways, shoot the guys, and move on. But there's some nice traps here and there. You know, there's some nice pits against boss monsters. They use a lot of cyber demons. But yeah, I mean, but the pros looks nice. I mean, right here, like Tarzan saying,
Yes.
he likes the start of this.
Oh yeah, this is a map. Yeah, I'm thinking of it. This map in general, I just like the shape and the layout and how you move through it. This is actually one of the few good maps, I think, of what I played.
The predisposition is important, and what I mean by that is because you're saying there are some neat traps there, and that's true, but if you are sort of lulled into this sort of metronome-like sense of going down hallways and shooting down low tier, and then you get jumped on by some difficult encounter and you're not prepared for it, and you get killed, and it's like, that is terrible pacing. So I wouldn't even, a good setup now and then I wouldn't even put in the favor if the whole isn't working together.
you feel almost angry that the map is
Exactly, yeah.
like going hard on you all of the sudden. Like you would at the beginning you would like those scenarios, but when you're wandering around the hallways for who knows how long, and suddenly it's hard combat, it's like you feel betrayed.
It sounds picky, and it is kind of a nuanced perspective level. Yes,
Oh.
that bloody switch. Geez. There's another example of that I think on this level too.
There we go. And yeah, the level keeps moving on. It's pretty big, but you notice the size of the map, and it's still only 142 monsters. And like I said, there's maybe a couple of points in each level where you have a nice little spot, but it slogs to get through to each and every one of those. And I guess you're supposed to just enjoy the view in the meantime. But I don't think it lasts that long. Why did that door go down? It's supposed to, like...
You know, I find it quite interesting that one of the biggest Eternal fans I know of is Time of Death.
He made a lot of demos. That's kind of how I learned about some of these bigger levels, just by watching.
Right. Yeah.
I think the last one's like the UV max is over 30 minutes long.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. That's how you play. That's how you enjoy Eternal Doom. You watch Time of Death play it.
But yeah, I mean, this is pretty cool right here. This opening bit with this castle, kind of something like Heretic E5 M7 almost,
It does like its castle entrances. I think there are several instances of that.
or even just Castle of Grief.
Wait, are we on Dark Dome?
No. In next level, I'll do 12. It's a cool start. It's very inviting, and again, really well-made stars. Really well-made stars.
And we don't have Matt here to mock.
Have we made like a start to a regular star yet as a trope? I know it only show up in old maps, but it seems like it's worth it. You gotta find the helipads here.
Lose that shit. No, yeah, you could do start to star. You can also do start to pew. You could do start to helipad. There's really a lot of tropes in here, honestly.
But I mean, one thing I don't know how well it works as a Doom track, but I do like the soundtrack.
Yuck.
And when you're lost, most of the tracks do pretty well to kind of
Make you hate being lost.
Well, some of them. I mean, sometimes there's a bit drum heavy.
Listen to this.
Kinda like this.
Listen to this endless, repetitive bongo nonsense.
I have never known a person could be so wrong, Tonsman.
I know.
Hey, yeah, this map keeps going. And going. I mean, we're in the castle now, and I'm just great. I'm in hallways. Joy.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to Dark.
Really good job at being a much better Eternal Doom. But Epic too.
That's
Yeah,
true. I thought you were going to say Legacy of Heroes, which would be doubly good.
We should actually like make an entire episode on just maps that
Do
what
better
maps
than the original.
yeah, but they take like direct inspiration
Spiritual
What's the so Chronos
superiors.
versus Hexen?
because you also have like Time of Death made Eternally Yours, which is also inspired by Eternal
Mean
Doom.
Valkyrie Force? Eternally Yours?
Wait,
Oh, or
no,
are there two
I'm-
Eternally Yours? Is
Eternal, or is it Eternal Memories? Oh
That's
god,
right, yeah.
Oh right.
Or is it Eternal Slumber Party?
What the fuck is it?
So we got these
Slumber
things.
Party.
These pillars. We're gonna see a bunch of these. Well, there are a bunch of these in Eternal Doom. I think they look
Eternal
pretty
Slumber
cool.
Party is your next maximum Doom, Tonsman.
Really?
Dark Doom.
Probably take you as long, yeah.
But yeah, so this is Dark Dome. Dark Dome's another map made by... I don't know how to say it, so I can't remember how to spell it.
Sverre.
Sverre. And the first name is equally unpronounceable. for
Just roll
Just-
the R, so it makes you sound like you're cultured.
You can also say Ukio. Ukio? That's his nickname. Which doesn't make it better, I guess, because I don't know if it's Ukio.
I do love the sort of intimate bowel movements of these castles, if I could phrase it so delicately. It reminds me of these very tightly knit, sort of irregular corners in castle structures. They
And
remind me of AV map 23.
This map is,
Oh yeah, that's yeah.
and this map is the ultimate switch hunt. Like you have to press how many switches like for unlocking the central puzzle. It's
the
it's
yellow
really
key,
like
yeah.
it's really like 1/12 of the puzzle has been solved pretty much.
And you don't even get the courtesy of a message in front of you.
Right.
That's my favorite meme.
What 1/12 of the
Anyway,
puzzle?
let's keep moving in here so I can show it. Yeah, this look at this. Look at that guy right there.
Oh hey, I know that from Scythe 2.
Yeah.
Clearly
Careful of the
it stole
afro
it
behind that.
from
Yeah.
Oh,
Oops,
and there's a
that was a
second.
bit of a spike there on the stream.
And
We're breaking down.
just to note, this would have been the
GG.
finale. for Eternal Doom 1, this map. This would have been, the final map that you would have seen when it was created for just those first 12 years.
And that would have been sensible.
Okay, now.
Right, it would be a
sure
good
you
episode.
I think you might have talked about this before, but so was episode 1 made independent of Team TNT, and then like Team TNT took over?
You did talk about this.
Supposedly, well, unfortunately, all I can gather is just like circumstantial evidence to suggest that. I can't find any actual like documents detailing that.
Well,
but supposedly
I can-
the first one.
Just
was-
looking at the people who mapped for it, I can tell you that, well, Alex Mayberry and Sverre Quenmo have no maps in, like, past map 12.
Yeah, I mean you can see it. Like I said, it's a lot of circumstantial evidence. So
Those castle towers are great.
I see the tie is created for map 34. How far does this go past map 32? What's
Just
the deal with
two.
the additional
Just
levels?
two extra
Just the two. Okay.
Just guessing, I would say that the Team Eternity got, like, cannibalized by Team TNT, and then they continued with the episode 2 and 3.
Yeah, that sounds about. That probably is what happened.
There we go. This mastermind. I think there's also no. Where's the switch? The switch.
And yeah, Eternal, like the Russian mapper, he remade the Epic 2, and he made it twice as switch hunty as this map, because he makes you like cycle through those switches twice.
Yeah, that map is fun.
That mastermind's like a bloody owl, just rotating on the spot.
So then we come
Yes.
to Eternal Doom 2.
Storytelling.
I mean, it's very obviously there. So, cannot be used by the living.
That's an interesting way to break the fourth wall.
Burning feet, the way of the bird.
The way of the
By
bird.
the way,
Or the
this
exploding-
wonderful narration method was recently used by Mechadon in Counterattack, which is amazing.
Yeah.
By exploding.
Is the way of the because I've never played this map. Is the way of the exploding fist a map that's
Nice.
entirely dedicated to the Guantanamo heat wave?
Yeah, well, evidently.
That didn't work at all the way it was supposed to. Because you're supposed to do this, and then the guy. There we go. And then he teleports you where you need to go.
Great. As a corpse.
But I'm not.
Apparently, this just ditch the fist. It's the way,
Let's try
the way of
burning feet
exploding.
instead. But the idea here is that it's supposed to pistol start you for the next map. So,
Hello, hold, back to set and next, new kit. What's going on here?
come on.
Or am I thinking of the lava tons? It does look like it, doesn't it?
Both of
Bubbly.
them. No, all the old Back to Saturn X textures Essel made were fucking abysmal like this. Like they were just like. She admits it. They're fucking terrible.
There we go.
My god, what is going on? You're gonna have to explain this. Is this another compatibility issue? Was that actually supposed to happen?
Yeah. Well, I think probably. I think so.
Oh my god.
I mean, I have it set on comp level 2. So. But yeah, then you go to a level that's basically designed to be Tysonable, I guess. 'Cause it's called Pistol Only.
I feel like the previous level was a mistake.
Oh, you said, hold on.
Doesn't agree with
Let me show you what they did with the dehacked patch stuff. Map 6. Oops. Let's go to map 6 and sorry, I'm getting used to the IDs. Oh, where is the exit of this level? So this is the intermission screen.
This is an excellent track.
Yep. So they don't even try to make any sort of special intermission sort of plot.
This is
They
like
just show 'em.
Eternal Doom meets the fucking bar on Tatooine from Star Wars or something. I don't even know.
Yeah, so they were called, and look at that, NeoSoft Team TNT, great. There we go. Remember, it's neosoft.com. Right.
Does it still
What
work?
the fuck even is that?
And then there's where is the exit to this one? Is it this direction? Yeah, it's
This level was designed by George Romero. Right?
Yeah, here's this one. This one's even better. They just decided, why not just throw the credits in right over here? There they are. All the credits. They really tried to stretch every single one of them in.
Check out that word salad, yeah, damn.
Here's all the guys that made the demos. Some of those names, I do not know how to pronounce some
Dear
of those names.
Vestatika.
Oh right, it came with like a complete set of demos, right?
Yep. Well, at least by the time it was Eternal Doom 3, it did.
Kai Humpert Michael. Oh wait, no. I can't tell which one's a hyphenated.
The
and which
dashes
one's
mean a
just
different
separate.
name, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, well,
Why isn't there a guy who made Eternal Doom 3 called Kai Humphrey Michael though?
well, I'm just thankful that the playtesters and the demo makers weren't coming from my public school in the UK, because it would be double-barrel names all over the shop. It'd be confusing as hell.
Anyway, what's another good one to show off at this point?
Nancy Canadian. I missed that.
I mean, really, it's hard to show off these levels without
Right, because you have these grand exterior
without
shots,
rushing
and
through
get-
them,
yeah,
and
then
then
you
at the
get
same
into
time
the guts of
knowing
it,
what to do.
and then the scale of it shrinks down to sort of corridors and
Non-existent,
really
yeah.
the intestines of the things, and you don't get a very good perspective from there. So you have these grand exoskeletons, and then everything inside of it, which doesn't really make for. There's some nice detailing, but you don't really get an impression of the level of lodge. That way, you need to play the thing, unfortunately. And we're not going to do that.
Right. And I'm wondering if I should show off a demo of one of these maps. I actually have all the UV maxes sitting on my hard drive. I'm wondering if there's one that would make sense to show. The problem is that they go through the thing so fast, you don't even know what progression is even happening. And that's
Right.
That's just
They'll
as
be
much of a
they'll be
problem.
flipping a switch that ordinarily you would be taking 20 minutes to find, and so they.
Right. Well, let's see. Which one is the one? Where's Time Slip 2? You guys should be able to see the map list.
Time Slip 2. That is Time Gate 2 is map 23
Okay, let's go to that one. 'Cause
by
that's-
Dietmar Vestatika.
this one is pretty cool because it's kind of a mishmash of the sci-fi and the medieval in weird ways, and it makes the puzzling even more or the confounding even more confounding. It's pretty cool. And once again, it's got some big stuff in it. Some really
God, this also sounds like a low fidelity track torn straight out of some Star Wars prequel film.
This
Hey,
actually does
preview.
sound a little bit like Binary Sun, honestly.
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
another thing.
It's to me it sounds like Daggerfall pretty much,
Oh well, yeah, that too.
or maybe not Daggerfall, maybe Lands of like less fidelity than Daggerfall had.
Gotta go with that time gate. 1
check out
million
that brown.
BC.
So loaded this with the Weeds font, is that correct?
That's
Whatever. Right, that's why this trumpet sounds actually half reasonable.
This is how it's supposed to sound. All your life you've been playing it wrong, Alfonso.
I've been getting lost to the wrong music.
Yeah, right.
look, it's that simple.
Fuck!
It's not in the dead simple slot, so I hate it slightly less.
No, but see, it's
it
30
blindsides
minus
you.
23 is 7, which is the final
What was
map.
that?
Because there's 30, like, you know, it goes up to 30, and this is map 23, so 30 minus 23 is 7.
Oh, of course. The
Now you're
fucking
ruined it.
mapset's upside down. No wonder. That's I didn't see before. Just like I didn't see map 20 of Icarus being upside down.
If somebody actually did that, I wouldn't.
You would enjoy it. You would
I
laugh
wouldn't
that up like a
give a
thirsty
shit.
hound.
Yeah, I wouldn't even give a shit. I'd be like,
Well, I mean, aside from the fact that most
Pretty cheeky.
went to map 1 because they fucking hate Icons.
Yeah, but just so we're clear, if someone does it now, it doesn't count anymore because
yeah,
You gotta be
yeah,
more
we
creative
already
than that.
spoiled it.
yeah.
So we're in 1 million BC grid.
Well, hey, there is an Icarus on map 1 of TNT 2.
That's true.
Look at this big ol'... I guess this is not 1 million BC. It's something.
Maybe they reset the calendar in BC. It means
Oh, God,
something
what is
else.
happening with these walls?
Is it? Is it Whispers of
Underflow.
Satan that has a map that's called like 2000 BC or something like that?
Yes. Map 21. Don't ask me how I know that. It's just quite bad.
So anyway,
What's it called? What's it actually called?
2000 BC.
Oh, really? That's just what it's called?
No.
So this is Rainbow Bridge.
Not to be confused with AD's 1500 BC, which is actually pretty good. Or 1500 AD, which is the map that follows it by Marquette, which is also even better.
What map is what map set is that in?
Mayhem 15.
I don't think
This
I've
is
played
like
Mayhem.
the city map, if I'm not mistaken, of Eternal Doom.
Oh, great.
Oh my.
Yeah.
It really chooses how to make a city. There's a lot of spec. So it's an. I mean, this is when we really start to see kind of the enormity of them really reaching the boundaries of. Because, yeah, a lot of the levels are long because they just play long, but some of these maps are quite big and they are impressive simply in that magnitude.
Earlier in the chat, Zero Master said that the combined time for all Eternal Doom UV Max records is 5 hours and 43 minutes, which is fucking ridiculous.
Oh wait, just for the records for each individual level?
Yeah, combined time of all the individual level records.
Nice.
To be fair,
Yeah,
some
there
of
are
them
a lot
are
of
really.
speed run. There's a lot of speed runs that are a lot fucking longer than that.
Well, yeah, but those are like RPGs. with
There's some
100%
speed run that's like
completions.
300 hours long, and
Well, yeah, it's still faster than Final Fantasy VII speedruns.
no, there's a speed run for some RPG that's like 400 or 300 hours long.
Oh, God.
But like, but no, it's great because like 280 of those 300 hours only exist because it's like to get one item.
Yeah, which requires you to have like a week in-game time spent.
Yeah, it's like the shampoo or something like that.
Yeah.
What the
It's
fuck
ridiculous.
is that?
It's ridiculous. Anyway, let's. Unfortunately, there isn't much for me to show here, and even to show off some of the later maps in a UV Max or even a UV Speed dial would take a very long time. So let me just show off the final map, which a lot of people, if they know Eternal Doom, maybe they just skip here because they hear about how grandiose this final map
Well,
is.
I was about to suggest that we just play map 30, and like from the moment you load up Eternal Doom, then we can
That
talk
would
about the
I would not have
entirety of
enough
maps at
time.
the time.
We still wouldn't
Bye.
have enough time to play all of
You
it.
could just devote an entire episode to that map, right?
Look at this. I don't even know how to get the opening spot. But this music's very Warcraft 2.
I mean, I guess we skipped one notable map in E3, which is Time Slip, which is a pretty memorable, cool map, which returns to the tech base theme.
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever.
But, I mean, there's
Look it
there's
up,
one or
people,
two
look
last
it up.
things I do want to show after this. I guess one last thing. But yeah, this map, it's pretty magnanimous. Not even that many monsters. 165 monsters.
Yeah, but that's because Eternal Doom pads itself in really, like... The gameplay, honestly, in a lot of Eternal Doom is very afterthought.
Yeah. If anything, it might almost make sense to play Eternal Doom in a no-mo setting. and just enjoy
Walking
the
simulator.
maps and puzzles. Basically. But yeah, this map in particular is very convoluted, perhaps, is a good
What
way to
else
put it.
is Bob Evans responsible for?
A ton of stuff.
Yeah, but most
don't know.
notably for the audience. No? Oh, okay.
Down on the farm? I don't know. A restaurant?
Hey, I love Little Feat. It's one of my favorite tracks.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of.
Oh wait, but Bob Evans made the Odessa series.
Of course, there we go,
That's it.
yeah.
That's
So I'm
it,
thinking
that's
of.
He also
Which I
made some
understand
massive
we had
maps.
difficulty in tracking down, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's still not
the KMX
completely uploaded
Ultimate
to
tried to get
Epic
it
Games.
right, yeah.
But yeah, it's a really, I mean, especially for something from 1997, this does feel very epic.
But once again, though, I mean, as we were talking about halfway through, you need to play and get lost in these experiences to find like to what extent this level differs from the previous giant castle
Right.
entrance with guts that we can
Very
only
much
look at, but we can't really assess the difference of, unfortunately. So the notoriety of Map 30 really derives from just how lost you get versus everything else.
Yeah. And even the max takes over half an hour, if I'm not mistaken. And a lot of that must be running
considering
around
there's
because
only
there aren't that many monsters.
130 something monsters, 165 monsters, yeah, and the max takes that long. And that's how much time gets sucked up by needing to run back and forth.
How many
Flipping
secrets
shit.
are on this map?
8. Just 8.
Excluding, the actual progression, which will probably take it to about 30.
Here's a community project pitch. Remake Eternal Doom into a game where the monsters are still there, but they talk to you and they give you hints how to dress.
I thought you were about to suggest something like just get rid of all the convoluted shit, but that's just maximize it, double down.
That's right, and it's just like trying to punch you in the face. Go left, hit the switch behind the bookshelf. What
Yeah,
left?
there's-
My left or your left?
There's no icon
You
of
actually
sin
take
here
the role of a Jehovah Witness.
either. They finish up kind of with another puzzle, I guess.
Excuse me, do you have a moment to talk about puzzles?
So yeah, that's Eternal Doom. And honestly, this doesn't... unfortunately, a brief showing cannot do it justice, and even like 5-6 hours would probably not hit everything. Even if I knew exactly where I was going. Even though the maxes reach that collectively, that's still not showing things. It's just getting through it as absolutely fast as possible.
If you are a fan of the aesthetic, incidentally, then there are plenty of things that I can recommend you play in order to get, I suppose, the best out of this aspect of Eternal Doom. And that is Legacy of Heroes is something that gas to be released towards the end of last year that I think is an exceptional set. Also, I understand Eternal, incidentally, used these textures to create an episode of his own called Baker's Dozen, I think it is. I haven't actually played that, but I've heard good things. Mayhem, I think it's 2015, was the one before that, and also makes use of these textures to good effect. So there's lots of stuff out there that clearly people take inspiration from this set. But once again, as Captain says, it's something you need to play, unfortunately, to get a full grasp of the good that goes along with the all the bad that we've mentioned as well.
Or try to watch the demos. I mean, you can get something out of it. Or you could just use them as walkthroughs. I don't know. Anyway, there was one last bit, which is just like totally out there as far as Eternal Doom is concerned, and that's map 33, called Cyber Sweeper.
By Jim Flynn, oh boy.
Oh, fuck it, this map.
So yeah, this is Cyber Sweeper, and
I've not seen that. No? Oh god.
I mean, I guess I won't say it since Alfonso is blind. I'll try to have him guess as to what this actually
Oh,
is.
yeah, it's a dead giveaway, but that's spectacular.
Is this randomized every time?
No.
How would that be possible?
You actually have to use the Eternal Shell to randomize it. There's an executable called Ranside that remakes the level basically.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, okay. I guess
And
that's
that
how.
randomizes it. But yeah, I mean, this is Minesweeper. This is just exactly.
Of
Minesweeper.
course, yeah. That's beautiful. I love that.
So.
I mean, I don't like to play it, but but I like it in concept.
So anyway, if we could use this opportunity to kind of wrap up our thoughts regarding Eternal Doom.
I've offered mine, so I'll leave that to Doom and Tons.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would call Eternal Doom like the mappers map sets. Like, I find that a lot of mappers really love Eternal Doom, and I think it's because particularly of the visuals, not because of the gameplay. Like, it's created this particular theme, a visual that has really become pretty big over the time. So yeah, you can like make entire 2 episodes of just Eternal Doom clones or successors or something like that. So it definitely has its place in history, but I'm not sure I would recommend it for the random guy who wants to get into Doom, because it's a slog.
All right, Tarnsman, what do you think?
I think Eternal Doom is kind of like we talk about idea mapping in Doom, where like you have an idea or concept or whatever, and like that kind of carries the map, even though like it might be a fundamentally kind of poor map, but you kind of overlook it because of the idea is so cool that you fucking are like, sweet, like you're ready to like play through it. Sector by Zazer is a great example, because the gameplay in that map is really weak, but it's just fucking an amazing idea. And I think Eternal Doom is kind of like the progenitor of that in terms of a modern polished map set. I'm like the only person who's played through Maximum Doom in its entirety, but a lot of Maximum Doom had a lot of this. The few good maps in Maximum Doom, like Brundle.wad or the Death Star Reactor Star Wars map, or UAC of the Dead or whatever, or Trinity College. Like,
Damn.
The defining features of those were always, they had this like cool, high, mighty idea that they couldn't quite pull off, but like they really wanted to. And I think Eternal Doom is what happens when you take that and you add a little bit more polish to it. But at the end of the day, you still run into that same problem where not every idea can kind of carry itself for that long, and the end result is these really long-ass puzzle maps that are just chores to play. And as cool as like the Blue Room and Time Gate is or whatever, they just honestly, like you have to play it, and that's the problem. If it was just, you had to like look at it and be like, yeah, it's pretty cool, I think they'd be a lot.
Right. Do you think there are any positive qualities to Eternal Doom that can only be attained by playing through it in its entirety, or or is there nothing but angst to be gained from getting lost in its corridors? By which I mean, can you simply do what Captain's done now and sort of get the best qualities of Eternal Doom aesthetic just by clipping around through it?
Well,
because there's an experience to be had there by getting lost, but are there pros that can sort of balance out the cons there?
Yeah, but I don't know about in Eternal Doom, but certainly in Eternal Doom-esque stuff like, say, Epic 2 or Eternal Doom 4 SB's map, or
so there are better proponents of what the positive
like it's been done better. later.
Right, exactly.
Like people who were inspired by Eternal Doom have done Eternal Doom better.
Yeah.
So I guess that's its legacy, that it has inspired people to take the best of it and apply it elsewhere.
Yeah. And,
As is the case, obviously, with something from this part of history that is significant. So yeah.
But
God damn it, Rich.
But I think the thing that's important about Eternal Doom is, you know, like TNT often gets held up as like TNT's the idea of Doom, like, or Evilution, I should say. And I don't think that's the case. I think Evilution has a ton of just maps that are just fun little standalone maps, and I think, you know, episodes 1 and 2 for the most part are very well done. Like, they hold up as playable things, whereas like Eternal Doom is where, even more so than like Icarus, which is still very, you know, yeah, you have all these ideas. Obviously, something like Feeding Frenzy is really concept-driven map, or even something bad like the Upside Down map is that. But at the end of the day, it's not like a consistent like theme. Like Eternal Doom is so consistent in what it is. Like that's kind of why I think it's so uniquely different than those things. Why I honestly think that it itself has done a lot more to inspire like the continual growth of this type of map, where you have something that has one like consistent aesthetic, and they're all the maps, you know, there's not a bunch of like hodgepodge, short map here, long map here, this map here. It's like every map, and even when that's like very numbing, like I find that numbing when every map is the same length, but this is definitely where that came from.
Captain, I thought you were prepared to say today, I'm not sure if it was going to be part of this episode or a subsequent one, that you were going to argue that Evilution has any influence whatsoever because it was part of... Well, I mean, this seems self-evident that it was part of Final Doom, but it was otherwise a completely unremarkable set that doesn't deserve to have the attention lavished upon it.
Well, I would put it
because
in the
it's
same spot.
Supposed to be in its place.
I would put it in like a Requiem spot, or, you know, a Hell Revealed spot. But, you know, people really put the IWADs on a pedestal, and
Yeah.
and I think if you
I agree with that.
if you took Evilution off that pedestal, I think you'd find it, you know, not nearly as treasured.
Yeah, dimensions of time levels are forgotten.
But if at the same time, I would then argue that if you took Plutonia off that pedestal, you would still see a lot of things that you would still have seen this progression that we had. And that's the important bit, is that, yeah, okay, fine, the id levels, Doom 1 and Doom 2, those are pivotal, those are what was made in vanilla, those are the game. But, you know, with Final Doom, like, who remembers Hell to Pay? That was a commercial product, but... You know.
I would also, but Plutonia by itself is also a lot more polished and a lot better than
Right. I'm sure there's a contributing factor in Captain's Arc.
And also, honestly, even the first 2 episodes of TNT, like if you look at Icarus and then you look at TNT, right? TNT is honestly, in terms of consistent quality, at least for the first 2 episodes. Once episode 3 happens, it does go downhill. A much more consistent, polished, and overall better product. And even, you know, I can't believe I'm saying this, but even honestly, stuff like Memento Mori and Memento Mori 2, which have higher highs, you know, there's never a cesspool in TNT. Okay, there's never occasional or a Hell Revealed Map 2 or any of these other maps that I think that a lot of the community projects from that era, I don't know if that's because it quality controlled it at all. I don't know what happened, like, in the exact process of how it was developed, but TNT, even for being the IWAD that's all hodgepodgey and all over the place, still exhibits a level of commercial consistency that is kind of across the IWADs.
Still, I would imagine Eternal Doom as a better commercial product than TNT by far.
Yeah,
Like,
it would be. Yeah.
This is something like I would expect from a commercial product. I would be like maybe wondering if I got my worth of fun for the money I paid. Something like actually boring, blah blah blah, something like that. But it's consistent. It's like it has this unique concept and it delivers on that concept.
You
TNT
see the
is-
products of influence a lot more in in something that's
And,
taken
yeah.
from.
Right. You can see, as Captain said, that if you take TNT off the pedestal, do you think it would still have like the legacy? Because I don't think so. Like you can see, Eternal Doom has an insane legacy. Some people love it, and it spawned so many spin-offs, so many map sets that are clear homages, and TNT gets that only recently, and I think it only gets that as like kind of like Plutonia got its homages, so now it's TNT's time. Like it's not as influential as
Correct. Yeah.
anything else.
Absolutely. I no need to reiterate. I echo those sentiments exactly. If only so I can prevent Captain from repeatedly dying in this room. Okay, we're done. I think.
Yeah, I think that about wraps it up. But so, decide for yourselves, audience. What do you think? Do you think that Icarus and Eternal Doom ended up kind of spicing things up better? Do you think that TNT Evilution is still a better map set? You know, just consider these things for yourself. And on the next episode, we're going to kind of move away from the main, the main line of the TeamTNT map sets, because they didn't make that much after this, but they did make something else that was very significant. It was the Boom engine, which had massive ramifications in the Doom community. So we'll be looking at... I'm going to show off the boomedit.wad to show off all of the features. I know that's much more of a technical point, but then we will look at WADs that really make use of these features, and then show off exactly what you can do with conveyor belts and voodoo dolls.
That'll be
So,
interesting.
so yeah, thanks for watching. This has been Captain Clever along with Alfonso Du and Tarnton for the TeamTNT series of Evolution of the WAD. And I hope to see you next time. So until then, have a good one. Take care.